A peaceful village sits by a river, sunlight shimmering on the water. Elder Harper watches Maribel and Elisa playing, a smile lighting up his weathered face. The two young girls laugh, their joy echoing through the tranquil village. Their small shop stands as a testament to the family's hard work and simple life. Harper's shop is filled with light, overflowing with goods. A warm glow illuminates every corner, promising comfort and abundance. Harper, his face lined with time, gestures to Maribel and Elisa, his eyes reflecting both worry and a firm resolve. "I must leave on a long journey," Harper announces, his voice heavy with unspoken weight. His gaze softens as he entrusts them. "Take care of the house and shop together." Harper embraces his daughters warmly, a father's love palpable in the crowded shop. He departs, leaving Maribel and Elisa standing alone amidst the day's bustle. Maribel and Elisa exchange a look, a silent conversation passing between them. The shop feels different now, the air subtly charged with unspoken emotions. Sunlight floods Harper's house as Elisa awakens early, the promise of a new day casting long shadows across the room. With quiet determination, Elisa begins her cleaning, the rhythmic motions, a silent symphony in the still morning air. Dust motes dance in the sunbeams as she sweeps, each movement filled with purpose. Maribel sleeps soundly, her peaceful slumber undisturbed by the early activity. A stark contrast between purposeful motion and serene stillness fills the house. Inside Harper's shop, Elisa's smile shines as she assists a customer, the store a haven of neatly stocked shelves and soft melodies. Lost in her reflection, Maribel steps into the shop, her entrance a stark contrast to the shop's serene atmosphere. Maribel's eyes dart, ensuring every strand of hair is perfectly in place, her vanity a silent performance. Oblivious to the world around her, Maribel continues her self-assessment, the mirror her stage. Elisa pauses, her smile faltering slightly as she observes Maribel's absorption in her own image. Sunlight dances on the riverbank as Maribel sits, her reflection a shimmering twin in the flowing water. She languidly brushes through her long hair, each stroke filled with self-admiration. A glint of disdain flashes across her eyes, momentarily marring her beauty. Elisa thinks her hard work will get her somewhere, she says, her voice dripping with scorn. She tosses her hair back, a cruel smile playing on her lips. What a joke. She pauses, pulling out a small, ornate mirror, its surface reflecting back her own contemplative gaze. A faint smile plays on her lips as she adjusts a strand of hair, seemingly pleased with what she sees. The mirror becomes a portal, briefly capturing the serene beauty of the woods behind her. Maribel sighs contentedly, tucking the mirror away and continuing her solitary walk through the woods. Maribel walks along the serene riverbank, sunlight dappling through the trees. An old woman leaning heavily on a stick catches her eye, her figure frail against the landscape. "Please, I am so hungry and thirsty," the old woman says, her voice weak but hopeful. "Could you spare some food and water?" she asks, her gaze fixed on Maribel. At the riverbank, Maribel's face is set with cold determination as she gathers berries. The berries, bitter and spoiled, reflect the harshness of their surroundings. An old woman's weathered hands reach out, accepting the offering with weary resignation. The exchange speaks volumes of their desperate circumstances and Maribel's unforgiving resolve. Sunlight filters through the dense canopy as the old woman stumbles, her breath ragged in the silent woods. She collapses beside a gnarled tree, its ancient roots mirroring the lines etched on her weathered face. Her body writhes, a desperate dance against the encroaching agony that grips her frail form. Agony contorts her face, a mask of suffering as she clutches at her side, her knuckles bone white. The air grows cooler, and the first stars begin to appear, casting long shadows across the path. A splash of color against the muted landscape, Elisa returns from the village shop, her pace steady. An old woman lies motionless on the ground, her clothes blending with the earth. Elisa's eyes widen with concern as she rushes towards the fallen figure, a sense of urgency gripping her. She kneels beside the old woman, her eyes reflecting empathy. Gently, Elisa extends a hand, offering comfort and support. Elisa guides the old woman into Harper's cozy house, a sanctuary filled with the comforting aroma of simmering spices. With gentle hands, Elisa ladles a steaming portion of warm food into a bowl, her movements tender and caring. She smooths out the crisp sheets on a neatly made bed, creating a haven of peace and comfort. The room glows softly, a testament to Elisa's kindness and the warmth she brings to the old woman's life. Every detail in the house speaks of care and consideration, a refuge from the world outside. Warm light spills across the living room floor as Maribel's voice rises, sharp and filled with a rising anger. Her face, flushed with fury, is a mask of raw emotion, shadows dancing around her. She confronts Elisa, her words cutting through the silence, a challenge hanging in the air. "Elisa, why did you help that old woman? She needs to be sent away," Maribel demands. Inside Harper's dimly lit house, Elisa moves with grace, her touch gentle as she cares for the old woman. Maribel stands apart, arms crossed, a low murmur of discontent escaping her lips, a shadow of complaint. Elisa's focused attention remains unbroken, filtering out Maribel's constant stream of grievances. The old woman's eyes flutter, her frail form responding to Elisa's soothing presence in the quiet room. Maribel's resentment simmers, a stark contrast to Elisa's selfless dedication, highlighting the strained dynamic. A palpable tension fills the air, a silent battle between compassion and bitterness in Harper's house tonight. Sunlight floods Harper's room, illuminating a scene of renewed vitality. The old woman's eyes sparkle with life. Harper beckons Elisa closer, a silent invitation into a shared moment of peace and recovery. On the table, a simple wooden bowl glows with an otherworldly light. The bowl overflows with plump blueberries, each berry radiating a soft, captivating blue. The glowing blueberries hint at a secret, a source of Harper's miraculous recovery. The scene suggests a magical cure found in nature's most unexpected offerings. Inside Harper's house, the old woman's wrinkled hands gently bless Elisa, a silent promise passing between them. Her blessing given, the old woman whispers softly, her form beginning to fade into the shadows. Elisa stands alone, bathed in soft light, the magical berries now clutched tightly in her hand. The weight of the berries feels substantial as Elisa contemplates the journey ahead, her eyes filled with purpose. Weeks later, Elisa lies in bed, her face flushed with fever, shivering under layers of blankets. Weakly, she gestures towards the kitchen, a silent plea etched on her pale lips. Her voice, barely a whisper, cuts through the stillness. "Maribel, could you bring me the blueberries?" Her eyes, though clouded with illness, hold a glimmer of hope as she waits. In Harper's sunlit kitchen, a tempting bowl of plump blueberries sits unguarded on the counter. Maribel's eyes light up, drawn to the sweet allure of the berries. Without a second thought, she snatches the bowl, her fingers diving into the deep blue treasure. A flurry of berries disappears into her mouth as she savors the burst of sweetness. The bowl empties quickly, each berry a tiny explosion of flavor and delight. A satisfied smile blooms across Maribel's face, a picture of pure, unadulterated joy. Elisa lies in bed, her face pale against the white sheets, her strength visibly fading. Elisa's labored breathing fills the room, a heavy counterpoint to Maribel's quiet movements. A close look reveals the worry etched on Maribel's face as she cares for Elisa. Days have passed. Harper's house is now neat, sunbeams spotlighting dust. Sunlight streams, illuminating every corner of the tidy space. An old woman's voice echoes, breaking the serene silence. "Maribel, have you seen Elisa?" she asks, her tone laced with concern. The question hangs in the sunlit air, unanswered and heavy. The old woman shuffles into Elisa's room, her movements slow and deliberate. A sudden, ethereal light fills the room, casting long shadows that dance across the walls. A breathtaking transformation unfolds before our eyes, the old woman's form shifting and shimmering. Where once stood an elderly figure, now stands a radiant fairy, bathed in otherworldly light. In Elisa's room, a wave of light washes over her as the fairy's touch mends her instantly. The fairy, aglow with ethereal light, gracefully turns her attention towards Maribel. A silent promise hangs in the air as the fairy regards Maribel, anticipation building. Maribel's face is filled with hope as she awaits the fairy's next move. Elisa's room becomes a stage for horror as Maribel's scream pierces the air. Her hair rebels, growing wildly, a dark cascade consuming the space around her. Strands thicken, morphing into woody vines, anchoring her in place. The room twists into a nightmare as her hair roots her to the floor. Each writhing strand embodies a horror beyond comprehension. Maribel, still and tall, stands as a silent tree beside the flowing river, sunlight dappling through the leaves. Elisa watches with a tear-streaked face as the fairy speaks, her gentle voice echoing in the serene air. "Maribel will learn patience and humility," the fairy says, her words carrying a hint of hope through the trees. The fairy's words linger, a promise of redemption hanging softly in the air. One day, she might be redeemed.